Ta-da! So today it's time for a new build, and for today we have two cases, of which I already chose one actually, but we have two of those Montech Sky One Lites which came out quite recently, and as always I need B-rolls for the review, so we will continue to do a build. So what we are going to do today is use the white case, which makes me now doubt why I even unraveled the black one and put it on the table. That didn't make a lot of sense, so let's put it away. This makes a lot more sense now. So we are going to do a build inside the Montech Sky One Lite in white. Why the white and not the black one? Because frankly I believe it looks awesome, and I have a bunch of fans lying right here which I really wanted to use for once, and we will put them in there. What are we going to do? Well, the case is obviously white, so putting in three different other color options would look like a mess, so we will go with white theme. Therefore we will be going with an Intel platform. We are going to use a ASRock B660 Steel Legend. It's white, it's gray, it's yeah, it's enough white to make it work. We are going to slap in an Intel 12500 12th gen because quite frankly it's more than enough. For the GPU, we will be going with an RTX 3070 Vision, and I have already mixed the 12500 non-K with a 3090, which worked surprisingly well, so this, as far as I would assume for now, would end up being surprisingly like balanced. I hope so, we will see. I believe this will perform pretty well considering all the components that we use them. For the RAM, as I said, it's a white case. Slapping in red RAM would just look awful, therefore we are going to use a 16 gig ballistics white DDR4 3200, I believe, yeah, 3200 kit, because white. That's the only reason. And a Samsung 970 Pro 1TB because we need it. For the fans, I wanted to go with those very not brand new, but those Noiseblockers eLoop B14-PS and B12-P. So the quick ones and the slow ones, though there is no P version of the 14 of the 140mm form factor, but still I have three of those that I wanted to use. Although Montech pre-installs a bunch of fans, yeah, let's just open this nice swivel mechanic, take this part away. So even though Montech includes a bunch of fans, we have one random ass fan in the back and two in the front. They perform pretty okay, that's not the point, but A, they are 3-pin voltage controls, which annoys the hell out of me, and B, they do not look like particularly powerful, and the Noiseblockers do look powerful, they look quite sick. So that's why I really wanted to go with those, just to max everything out. In the front we will be putting in 3 of those 140s, then the back one will be 120, and we will put the last, which is still in the box, 140 up here. So there will be no fan here in the front, and this is mainly due because otherwise it would be really useless. Like if you would have the whole front pulling air in, the first fan would just pull the air of the first fan in the front out. It just doesn't make any sense. If you would have a radiator, okay, that makes sense, but we are not going to use a radiator. Therefore, putting a fan up there just, yeah, it will have no benefit. It might even be negative. And because I don't have enough fans. But I still have 2 120s left, and those two I will be putting right here on top of the PSU shroud, which you can't see because of the boxes. Here. It's not going to do hell of a lot, of course not, there is no like free air movement, let's say, but the PSU that they will be using is quite short, and there will still be a lot of air pushed in like behind the PSU from the front fan, so in the very least it will direct the air into the GPU, helping it keep everything very nice and cool. And quite frankly, because the GPU has quite the good cooling, so I'm just doing this for the looks. There is really no other reason. Then for the PSU, we have some random ass Corsair power supply, because why the hell not? And for the cables, I have those white BitPhoenix cables lying around, which have like an aluminum strap that keeps the cables in like blocks of 4, which looks pretty freaking cool. And because of the little hole in the front for the GPU cable, I believe this will look quite awesome. But we will see that. And I'm also very happy that this GPU is so freakishly long and that the power connectors are at the very end, because they perfectly align with that hole. So, this is perfect. This is perfect. For the cooling, I did a little mistake. I initially thought about using the Alpenföhn 3 because it is all white and it is all beautiful and here and there, and it has a little vibration problem, but it looked awesome, and quite frankly, for a 12-500, you could cool it, you know, with nothing. You could cool it by just touching it. However, it is not LGA 1700 compatible, and this motherboard only has 1700 mounting on them. So I cannot use that. However, I have an alternative, which is also white, which is going to be the Arctic Freezer 34 Esports Duo with 2 Bionics fans, which are not in the box. Which are on top of the box. Although the cooler is a lot smaller than the Brocken 3, it is still very, very powerful, or even more powerful, I believe. And we are not even talking about performance issues here. I mean, 12-500, the amount of fans, this is going to be very, very fine, I have no doubt there. So, although there is nothing complicated about the case, I already said it in the review, there is like a... come on... there is some shipping damage on the white model that I got. So there is a very small indentation here, like this is pointing downwards for really no reason other than somebody at DHL threw it across the room. And this makes removing the back panel very, very hard, and I will not do it again, so I will just straighten this now and risk damaging the paint. Yay, I damaged the paint. Great. So to build inside the Montech Sky One, there really isn't a lot that you need to consider, other than the fans are 3-pin voltage controlled, which is quite annoying. But other than that, it's a very, very budgety case, so no extra stuff that you need to consider. You know, it's not like a Fantex thing where you will need the manual to understand everything. It's very straightforward, and building inside something like that will not take more than, you know, like 30 minutes, the build is done. But I guess, okay, everything is presented. Let's start. As I'm putting this together right now, I just remembered that we already had a build with the 12-500 and this specific motherboard. And back then, if I remember correctly, we had an issue where the second and fourth RAM slot didn't work. I don't even remember it was that or was like a RAM motherboard combination. I truly hope that it is just like a RAM motherboard combination, and that this time I will not be using the exact same RAM. Otherwise I will have to replace them, and I really don't want to replace them because then it will not look as good as it should. We are done. Time to put this mess into the case. You see how light it is? Budget cases are so easy to work in. The cases are still going to be used as part of the giveaway, where you can choose one or the other. You can do whatever you want, but we will just give away one, where I still hope that it's going to be the black one because I just prefer the white one. I'm going to be very careful when working and B-rolling both of them because I don't want anybody to get like a broken case or a scratched case. Some of my cases are really scratched, but I will make sure to leave it as original as humanly possible. So no ripping, no pulling, or I will keep it to the bare minimum, just for people not to get a broken case. And at this point, yeah, the push pins are back. This is amazing. This needs to become industry standard for everybody who thinks about putting anything on the front panel. Everything else is just bad. They installed the bottom fan so low that I need to reach the screws like this. Please don't do that. As I'm building inside this puppy, I just realized how much space there actually is in the top for like radiator clearance and cable. So yeah, Montech, that seems like you've done a pretty good job here. During the review, I also compared the case quite heavily to the original one, and although there is no bracket, you have those cable holes with rubberized material around them, which, although not the same, in my opinion, is a okay alternative, considering that the case costs like $25 less. And I don't know, if you're doing like a budget build and you have a ready-to-go case, it's like the Montech X3 mesh. Like, it's ready to go, you have 3 fans installed, so you don't need more fans. And to be honest, if you need more fans, then you have the type of system that needs more fans. And why the hell would you get a extremely budget case if you have a system that needs, you know, very powerful fans? So I believe that compared to the original Montech Sky One Lite, they've done a pretty good job in terms of like balancing, not performance, but like included stuff to price. So if I would choose one of them for my future build and I have a very tight budget, I would go for the Lite. Honestly, absolutely. I might need to double check if the front panel still fits in, because the fans here are not like regular length. It doesn't. Do you hear that? So what happens here is the fan is a bit thicker than regular whatever fans, like they are usually 25 millimeters, and those here are 29, I believe. And you have that thing for the RGB strip in the front, and that one hits the fan. So this is a very bad idea, but absolutely no big issue, because I can just mount the fans inside the case and it won't change anything. Like, performance-wise, that nobody cares about that. It will work exactly as the other one. Okay, and from the inside you cannot see even a single cable. You see cable? No, you don't, because there is none to see. Because the cable management inside here is perfectly fine, and I like that. But while we are at it, let's also add quickly the back fan and the top fan, and then fans is basically completely covered. Now onto the GPU shroud. So I'm pretty sure that it will not change like the world, but who knows, maybe it will help the GPU significantly. And on the other hand, I don't have any benchmarks to verify this, or I was not planning on doing any. Now, with all of the fans installed and positioned correctly this time, we can back to the really fun stuff about building PCs. Forgetting to take out the PCIe bracket, for example. Yes, today is not a very good building day. I'm forgetting half of everything. What the hell is wrong with me today? Noise. This is really packed. Oh, hell yeah. And now let's make use of that amazing little glory hole here in the bottom and hook up the first cable, and followed by the second one, which will be followed by a devastating minute of let's hope that this actually boots with those RAM. But we will see about that in a minute. Now let's just... Hell yeah. And this is what I meant. These holes make the cable look amazingly clean. Like, without even trying, it will always look amazing like that. Oh yeah. So now it's the moment of truth. I need to check if that thing actually boots. Not that it won't boot due to any misbuilds, but because I do remember that these RAM did not particularly like any motherboard at all. So I'm just truly hoping that this works. it worked. I don't even know why. If I remember correctly, the 12500K or more, this exact motherboard was used with those RAMs and it didn't work, and for some reason now it did work. I don't understand why. It's just how it is. Now it works. I won't bother to find out what happened back then, why it happened. It just now it works. I'm perfectly fine with that. So I was able to do all of the benchmarks and everything in combination with those exact RAM that we are using right here. And design-wise, I must say I'm very glad how this turned out. I love those Noiseblocker fans. I wasn't particularly like a fan of the ARGB version of the Noiseblocker eLoop fans, but for the white ones, I'm all for it. I think they look amazing to create like the white style of build that we are doing here. And the whole thing is so freaking quiet. They are so quiet and there is so much air entering and exiting the system. Of course, we did a bunch of temp tests and you would see them in a minute. We basically used Firmac at 4K, 8 MSAA and blasted the GPU, which was still set to auto. Mind you, the fan was set to auto, no OC on the GPU, and we blasted the CPU with CPU-Z. And the temps were amazing. Of course, the Arctic Freezer 34 Esports Duo is an overkill cooler for the 12500, but for this particular build you can set all of the case fans to 10-15% and just don't care. It will work perfectly fine. This will never thermal throttle, it's just not possible. And also the GPU is very, very well cooled. I can feel quite a lot of air which is moved directly into the GPU, so it might not do a lot, but it helps it. It helps it to work fine, and you can run the fans now a bit slower if you want to, and you know, get the whole noise level of the case just down a lot. For the rest, I'm very happy how it turned out. I think it looks amazing. The Noiseblocker fans look amazing. The Arctic cooler, I initially thought about the Brocken, which would be like double the size or triple the size, and that would have looked even better. But I mean, I need to work with what I have. So I'm still quite happy how it turned out. For the benchmarks, exactly what I expected. I mean, take a look. So yeah, the thing is way more equalized than it was with the 3090 Ti, that's for sure. But still, this is, I wouldn't call it a 4K gaming PC, that's really not the case, but like solid 1440p, no problem. The only issue I have is like there is no very clear upgrade path from here. I wouldn't recommend to, you know, build something like this and in a couple of years exchange it for, I don't know, a 4080, whatever comes out, because then the CPU will be underpowered at that point. So yeah, this I would call this a very or a quite well balanced PC. For once I build a balanced PC, that's something new for me. But yeah, I'm very happy how it turned out. I think the design looks very, very good, and I will have amazing B-roll shots for the Montech review. On that note, if the giveaway is still going, there is a link in the description below. You can participate, it's worldwide. You can choose black or white, it's up to you. I just hope that everybody chooses black, please, because I want to keep the white. I think it looks amazing, but yeah. If it's still going on, check it out. It takes a minute and you have a chance to win a case if you want the case. It's still up to you. But yeah, at that point, I believe it's time to say bye. I hope you enjoyed the build of... Oh damn, I forgot to give it a name. Let's go with something Noiseblocker It's a Sky One Lite. Skyblocker. It's the Skyblocker. Wow, that made sense. I hope you enjoyed the build of the thing that I would just call Skyblocker, because that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to not miss the next one, because we have the Montech review coming, or at this point will already be out probably. On other notes, we have the reviews for the Noiseblockers coming. Let's see how they turn out. That one is going to be interesting. But yeah, hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.